headlines. Nathan and Kojo, good morning.
Yes. Hello. Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yes. Daily graphic. Okay. Council of State takes office. President asks for honest, truthful advice. Minority demands clarity on Public Enterprises Ministry. COVID-19 vaccine arrives today. And the big one on the Daily Graphics front page. Say no to homosexuality. Christian Muslim clergy declare. Teachers, traditional leaders angry. And on the back page, as we are walking towards our aim of being the cleanest city in Africa, filth returns to Accra markets. That's on the back page of the Daily Graphic with nice pictures for people to look at and ponder.
Now, on the front page of the Finder, whilst the Daily Graphic is highlighting the filth in Accra's markets, Madam Cecilia Abena-Dapa says Accra is on course to becoming the cleanest city in Africa. She said this at her vetting yesterday. Review laws to criminalize same-sex relationships. This is the chief imam. COVID-19, Ghana to receive compensation for COVAX vaccine side effects. First COVID-19 vaccines arrive today. Yay! And sad news from COVID-19, 5 new deaths. Now the death toll is 582. Possible review of Labour Act under discussion. This is the minister designate for the sector. And be proactive partners to find solutions to Ghana's problems. President to Council of State members.
The Daily Guide says new Council of State takes office. Asiedun Ketia's testimony pops up. Sorry, Ayine begs Supreme Court, and Galamsey fight yielding results.
On Galamsey, the president says, let's fight Galamsey corruption together. This is the president on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. Mixed reactions greet COVID-19 vaccine. High Court restrains picketing at Jubilee House, Supreme Court, EC, and 5 suspected bullion van robbers arrested.
The Daily Statesman says, be proactive partners in development. President charges Council of State members. Inusa Fuseni says he has no interest in Mohammed's election petition. Government's free water benefited 10 million people. That's according to Cecilia Dapa. And last one. Canoe fishermen express confidence in Hawa Kumsin.
Now the Chronicle, help me fight corruption in public life. President Akufo-Addo appeals to members of Council of State. I'm sure President will look at free water again. This is Cecilia Abena-Dapa. How minority nearly torpedoed Joseph Kujo's vetting. And Jan Asamoah terminate contract with Legon cities.
And the New Crusading Guide says, Akufo-Addo charges newly sworn in Council of State members. Help fight COVID-19. GACL only rented its space to Frontiers, that's according to the Transport Minister designate, and fisher folk back Hawa Kumsin for Fisheries Ministry.
On the front page of the Ghanaian Observer is a photo that has been circulating online, that of the President and Mr. E.T. Mensah. And the headline says, be proactive partners in nation building. Akufo-Addo charges Council of State. 2020 election petition. General Mosquito's mathematics gave Akufo-Addo 51.2%. This is upon Nkrumah speaking. Ashanti NPP Women's Wing Lord, the First Lady, and Accra on course to becoming cleanest city in Africa. Sanitation Minister designate.
Okay, the BNFT's front page says, pandemic leaves economy cash-strapped as payments eclipse revenue by 202%. Professor Korte urges government to invest in productive sectors. BOG measures to curb cyber fraud, boost customer confidence. That's according to a report. Vaccination drive requires active private sector participation. That's according to the Cowbank MD. And Cowbank Saham Insurance enter partnership to deepen insurance.
The front page of the Herald has a photo of Dr. Uswe Friakoto. And then there is a photo of the Cocoa Board boss. Between the two photos, there is a picture of a slasher. And the headline says, Agric Minister designates in $90 million financial loss. We'll give you details of that. Erratic Peter Mewu faces Sanhedrin today. That's also one of the headlines. Dominic Nitiwu took gifts from weapons smugglers accused of lying to appointments committee. That's also one of them. So the paper is actually taking on 3 ministers. And another stinking visa racketeering deal brewing. That's also a question on the front page.
Let me take you online and give you a few more headlines. Today, I'll start from the Los Angeles Times, just for
the early time.
Tiger Woods is awake, responding and responsive and recovering after serious rollover crash, with some images and very interesting angles. This story, for those who are following, huge golf star got involved in a car crash. That's the lead story for CNN as well. Then if you go to the BBC, they are also talking about the same story with a photo of the mangled car and a video of same as well. Now, if I bring you back home, CitiNewsroom.com is talking about Ghana receiving COVID-19 vaccines this morning. Mohammed's council files closing arguments for election petition. Meanwhile, E.T. Mensah says Bagby won't do NDC's bidding in parliament. And we're also told that it will be difficult for me to legalize Okada, according to the transport minister who appeared before the vetting committee yesterday. CitiBusinessNews.com, SEC warns public against investing in Wiseling online investment company. So that's something to take an eye on. And Ghana National Fishermen Council back Hawa Kumsin for Fisheries Ministry job. You read that somewhere else. And then BOG is telling banks, stress test your systems against possible cyber attacks. MyJournalline.com, if you go to the lead story, we have proven that no candidate won the December 7 polls. Mohammed's lawyers file closing address. Also, quality of water bodies has improved due to successful fight against Galamsey, according to Adapa. Really? And then Transport Minister designate, we cannot legalize Okada, and this is from the vetting as well. Star News is also talking about the vaccines. Ghana is ready to receive the COVID vaccines. Meanwhile, parent fumes as his 3 sons contract COVID-19 at Presec. Charlie, this matter. Meanwhile, be proactive partners in nation building. Akufo-Addo to Council of State. There is also an update. There's no LGBT office at Kwabenya, according to the Queen Mother. And then if you go to Ghana Report, they're leading with this interesting one. Frontiers Healthcare signed the contract with Ghana Airports Company the same day they started operations. So that's what's emerging from the angle they picked from the story. So let's get into the details, guys.
I think the big story for me this morning is the fact that we are getting COVID-19 vaccines and they are arriving today.
In 21 minutes.
Yes. Now, the story says Ghana will receive its first batch of the COVID-19 vaccine today.
Today.
No, this is an error finder. Today. Now, the expected vaccine will arrive at the Kotoka International Airport at 7 a.m. This was announced by the Ministry of Information in a press statement issued yesterday. The statement added that the vaccines will be received by a delegation led by the Minister of Health designate, Mr. Kweku Agyemang-Menu. And the statement further added that a brief ceremony will be televised on Ghana television and also on the Ministry of Information's Facebook page to welcome the vaccines.
If you go to the Daily Graphic, that's page 26, they even give some more details. So Ghana will take delivery of its first batch of 600,000 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. Covishield AstraZeneca vaccines manufactured by Serum Institute of India, one of the vaccines the government has ordered, will arrive. And the Daily Graphic says 7:30.
No problem. It will take a few minutes. Now, there's an angle here I want to bring to you. Ghana will receive compensation for any harmful side effects of the COVAX vaccine, according to Dr. Mponsa Chiano. And the story reads that Ghana is among 92 countries that will receive a no-fault compensation claim of serious side effects for people who are vaccinated with a COVID-19 vaccine acquired from the COVAX facility. This follows an arrangement or an agreement by WHO that a no-fault lump sum would be provided for serious COVAX vaccine side effects to reduce the need for resorting to the law courts, a potentially lengthy and costly process. Now, Dr. Kwame Mponsa Chiano, program manager for the expanded program on immunization, told the GNA in an interview that Ghana was part of the COVAX facility and certainly part of the compensation system by extension. And then they give some other angles to the story.
And on the COVID-19 updates, we've recorded 5 new deaths and the total death toll is 582 according to the Ghana Health Service.
Okay, let's move to the vetting with the issues of Accra and cleanliness.
Okay, let's start with water, then we go to cleanliness. Government to fix prepaid water meters in households. This is the minister designate. If you remember the last conversation we had with the Ghana Water boss, they were asking for a review of tariffs because they couldn't do ABCD and because there was a lot of debt. Now, this story by Julius Yapetechi says government is considering affixing household and industrial pipes with prepaid meters. The minister designate for water resources and sanitation, Cecilia Abnadapa, has hinted. This move, she explained, would address the continuous indebtedness to the Ghana Water Company and the Community Water and Sanitation Agency by households and enterprises. Now, the other story from her vetting is that Accra is on course to becoming the cleanest city in Africa. Now, that story is on page 9 of the Finder. And it says, Madam Cecilia Abena-Dapaah, Sanitation and Water Resources Minister Designate, says the government is on course in making the capital city, Accra, the cleanest city in Africa. Currently, she said the government had not achieved the target, noting that it required an all-inclusive approach from everybody to make it a reality.
But if you go to the back page of the Daily Graphic, they say filth returns to Accra markets. And the story reads, in spite of the disinfection and mass cleanups in the country's markets in the wake of the COVID-19 outbreak, filth is returning to the markets. A visit to a number of the markets in the Accra metropolis revealed that sections of the markets had piles of refuse accompanied by a pungent smell and multitudes of flies. The markets included Makola, Malamata, Adabraka, and CMB. And it goes on to give details.
Now, there are other interesting things from her vetting that I found interesting. So, my journal is reporting that she is saying that quality of water bodies has improved due to successful fight against galamsey. Now, let me read the story as it is written. Sanitation Minister Designate Cecilia Abena-Dapaah has touted the success of President Akufo-Addo's fight against illegal small-scale mining, galamsey, in view of the improved quality of the country's water bodies. In an answer to a question posed during her vetting on Tuesday, Mrs. Dapaah mentioned that a change in the turbidity of water bodies in the country for the better is proof that the war on galamsey has so far been successful. And there's even a quote. We have this Water Resources Commission that is in charge of monitoring our water bodies. And since the President's declaration of war on illegal mining, we have monitoring units that go around and submit quarterly reports. And I must say that the water quality as of July 2020, July 2020 was quite good with their turbidity levels, she told the appointments committee. But if it's quarterly, there's been more than one quarter since July, right? So there's definitely the September quarter and even the first quarter of this year. So I'm wondering why she's using the July 2020.
I think the most important thing is for the Water Resources Commission to publish the water quality index on their website. I don't know whether they've put on any new update, but the last time I checked was the 2016-2017 water quality index. Let's see the latest.
Let me tell you what she said. So the turbidity of the Birim River in Achim used to be 1590 NTU, but it's now down to 268 NTU. And Cobra and Axim, which used to be 4432 NTU, is now 503. Or I think it was then, because you can't say it's now. It's July, is not now. And these are the figures we have as of July 2020. We will be getting the figures for December 2020. So I really think we need updated figures, because what we found is that it's almost gone back to normal. It's actually worsened in some places. Yes. So I really don't know what she's talking about.
In fact, from the Brim area, if you remember, last week or last 2 weeks, I highlighted a story that said that the water company there was considering shutting down because of the water quality.
Yeah.
And if you go to Protuase, which is around Chibi, the community mining that should be legal is actually polluting the water there as well. So I think we need to...
Then still from the vetting, quickly, it will be difficult for me to legalize Okada Transport Minister Designate. I don't know if you have that in any of the dailies. CitiNewsroom.com has that. The Transport Minister Designate Kweku Ofori-Esiama has said that he may not be considering the subject of legalizing the Okada business in the second term in office. He said it when he appeared before the Committee of Parliament. He says, we will not be able to legalize Okada today because the numbers are not pointing in the direction that we should. Also, considering the fact that enforcement is a problem in this country, based on the current information on the ground, it will be difficult for me to spearhead the legalization. Then finally, from his vetting, as captured by the Ghana report, they are saying that it's emerged that Frontiers Healthcare Solutions, the company contracted to undertake COVID-19 testing at Ghana International Airport, signed the agreement with the Ghana Airport Company on the day it started operations. Now, the Minister Designate Kweku Ofori-Esiama discloses at his vetting on Tuesday that the two entities signed the agreement on September 1, 2020, the day the country's airport was open for international flights. According to him, the only briefing he received about the operations of Frontiers Healthcare Services Limited had to do with the Ghana Airport Company providing office space for Frontiers Healthcare Solutions. Mr. Chairman, but the documents before me, the contract was signed 1st September. I can't remember when the Frontiers started operations. Mr. Ofori-Esiama said while answering questions posed by the ranking member. So it looks like the tortuous journey continues.
Well, talking about Frontiers, the Transport Minister Designate, Kweku Ofori-Esiama, Honorable, he said that the Ghana Airport Company Limited, they rented their space to Frontiers. Now, this, he noted, was done after receiving confirmation from the FDA about the certification of equipment to be used by Frontiers Healthcare Services.
So the question is, do we have any more information from his vetting than we had before? I don't know. Let's move on to other stories.
Well, the president has inaugurated the Council of State, and 3 key issues came up. 1, he's asked the council to help him fight corruption in public life. 2, he's helped them to help him fight the COVID-19 pandemic.
He's asked them, or he's helped them to help
he's
them?
asked them, sorry. And 3, he's asking them to help him fight illegal mining in the country. And he says that he needs them to give him honest advice in the performance of his duties as president to help deepen the country's democracy and enhance the quality of governance.
Okay, he's also considering a review of the constitution to allow for some changes within the Council of State structure. That also came up yesterday.
The Daily Guide says Asiedu Nketiah's testimony pops up. Now, this, of course, in relation to the election petition case there. And General Secretary of the Opposition NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketiah, was a witness in the presidential election petition filed by former President John Mahama challenging the declaration of the results of the election held on December 7. The NDC's flag bearer, who was seeking a return to the presidency after he lost in 2016, is contesting in court that none of the presidential candidates got more than 50% of the valid vote. So they go on to detail.
So basically, that's the main contention, that no candidate obtained more than 50% of the vote cast. And they say they are urging the Supreme Court on March 4 to direct the EC to organize a runoff between President Akufo-Addo and candidate John Mahama. The submission is contained in their written closest addresses, as you read. And so it's going to be Monday. Thursday, 4th March.
Yes, yesterday we discussed the story from the Bokobi area, which others around the country also related to. Now, this morning, the Teman chief is calling for the fixing of the Oyarifa Teman Abokobi Road to ensure public safety. But I'll take you to the Herald, where the big story is from.
The vetting?
It's on the Greek ministry, actually.
I'm sure it's
related to vetting matters. Now, the headline says, a Greek minister designates a $90 million financial loss. And the story says, it is emerging that the Minister of Food and Agric nominee, or the ministry's nominee, Dr. Usu Efriakoto, has not been truthful on the purchase of some slashes for Ghanaian cocoa farmers when he appeared before the Appointments Committee of Parliament for vetting. A total of $90 million has been paid by the Ghana Cocoa Board on the slashes, which has been rejected by cocoa farmers. The Herald is further informed that at the time of the procurement, there was no budget for them. Dr. Efria Akoto had denied knowledge of the slashes when he was confronted by Eric Opoku with a question in Parliament. Now, the Herald's probe into the issue is revealing that the deal was brokered by the ministry under the strict supervision of the minister. The slashes were supplied by a company called Crop Doctor, owned by Agrocom, formerly called Amajaru. Now, the idea behind the procurement for the slashes to be sold to Ghanaian cocoa farmers for about 6,000 cedis, but the farmers have refused to purchase the petrol-powered machines with pruners because they are not suitable for their operations.
This is serious. Now, let's get into a few other stories. Parent Fumes has 3 sons contract COVID at Presec. This story is on Star FM. It says a parent whose 3 sons at the Presby Boys Secondary School in Accra have contracted COVID-19 has raised concern over what he says is the rising cases of infections at the school. About 14 students at the school have allegedly been quarantined by health officials over COVID. This was after some students reported to the school's clinic complaining of headaches and general weakness. The parent, who is a security personnel and spoke to GH1 News on conditions of anonymity, said. And some students of the school confirmed the development to GH1 News, and they also spoke about what is being done to deal with the matter.
Now, Amewu is going to Parliament. He's facing the Appointments Committee.
Today?
That's what...
because today we know Asenso and Abuja Napot
that's what
are
the
going.
Herald is reporting.
Well, his railways. Okay, so there's also housing, and then there's... what do you call it, land. So
they're saying that Amewu will have one of the toughest veterans because he handled land's fight against Galamsey. He went to energy. So many.
So there's a lot of things to ask him. Yes, so
and the issue about Hohoi and Sao.
Yeah.
So that's what the people
he'll
are
probably
saying.
break the record for the length of time, which Godfrey Dam is holding, 6 hours, 14 minutes or something. All right, let me take you to Tiger Woods, and I don't know if you've heard that story, but it's a big one on most international websites. Tiger Woods suffers multiple leg injuries in car crash, and he's awake and responsive following surgery. And this is the BBC's angle. Tiger Woods is awake and responsive following surgery on serious leg injury suffered in a car crash in Los Angeles on Tuesday. Now, the 15-time golf major champion, who is 45 years old, had to be, quote, extricated from the wreck, unquote, by firefighters and paramedics. A statement published on the American's Twitter account said he has suffered open fractures to the lower right ankle and leg. Wow. Injuries to his foot and ankle have been stabilized with screws and pins. He's currently awake, responsive, and recovering in hospital, according to the statement. Now, Woods was fortunate to be alive, said a deputy from the LA County Sheriff Department, who was first on the scene of the accident, which took place at 7:18 local time on the border of Rolling Hills Estate and a place called Rancho Palos Verdes. I'm sure you can pronounce that better. Now, this is very serious, but luckily Tiger Woods is alive. You know, he's a celebrated golf champion, and there's a video of the car wreckage, Charlie. It's amazing the man is still alive, Seth, so that we should thank God for.
There is an interesting story in the Daily Graphic. Time to indigenize economy, Sam Jonah.
Is it?
Yes.
Where was he speaking?
Now, let me get the story. He told the Daily Graphic, so the Daily Graphic interviewed him. Now, the story says a business executive and statesman says Sam Jonah has called for deliberate policies
He's a big man.
and state intervention to increase indigenous ownership of the economy. He said there was the need for a national strategy on economic empowerment to strengthen local businesses and entrepreneurs to operate successful enterprises that will play significant roles in national development. He talked about protectionism policies. He talked about why the city is suffering because we don't have enough indigenous businesses. And he says the need to champion such policies is even more urgent with the establishment of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area.
We've heard. Now, Nathan, there's a story here I don't know if you would like. This story is from universenewsroom.com, Radio Universe. Now, it said, Ghana people don't like learning their own language. Professor Charles Owu Ewie, Dean of the Faculty of Ghanaian Languages, University of Education, Professor Charles Owu Ewie, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, says the Ghana people in the country are not interested in studying their own language. This, he said, is the reason for which some schools may consider phasing out education in the Ghana language, as there are no teachers to handle the subject. Now, the story then gives the background. Speaking to Universe News, Professor Owu Ewie said, the UEW has witnessed a decrease in the number of those who enroll to study Ghana language. He said this was despite the fact that more Ghanaians enroll in the school. Then here's a quote, I dare anybody who will say we don't have enough Ghanaian language teachers. We have them and we train them. But for Ghana, I can say the students are not coming. The issue is that Ghana people don't like learning their own language. When you come to the university, the unit with the smallest person is the Ghana, when it is expected to have large numbers, but the Gandangbe have more students than they have, he said. Professor Charles Owu further mentioned the number associated with persons who are enrolled to study Ghana as their second proficiency language is always higher than the persons who would want to enroll in it as their first proficiency course. So he even gave some breakdown. He says, for example, they have over 200 students, but only 15 or 20 who want to study Ghana, but with Twi they have over 600. Ewe has about 200 and more. So basically saying that the student teachers should also enroll to study the Ghana. I don't know what you have to say about that.
Well, I mean, it could be he's the one who's in the school, so it is very possible. And I don't know why there's a lack of interest.
There's a nice advert in the Statesman and the BNFT about the EAA. I'll tell you more about it later on. Entertainment Achievement Awards. Fantastic one.
Big one.
Yes. Kojo, thank you very much. Obodai, it's another Wiega. Yes. Let's not put the language and hide it. Let's speak it. Kojo, it's not Tete, it's Tete.
This is the City Breakfast Show.